Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds in the studio. It's Monday morning. Did you have a good Easter?
Really nice. How about yours?
It was good. Did you find enough candied eggs around your yard?
I better lay off those babies.
Yeah, I know. Well, after yesterday, me too. What blows my mind every time something like this comes around is you're getting paid to play a professional sport. Millions of dollars a year. Yes, you're young. You're in your early 20s. We all made mistakes in our early 20s. I'm not saying that. But when I was making mistakes in my early 20s, I didn't have millions of dollars where I could pay said individual $50, $75, even $100,000 a year to not only be my driver, make sure that I don't put myself in really bad situations, and keep people that want to harm me or do me harm away from me. Wouldn't be ridiculous to have that in my life. Why does any professional Ruggs, most recently Rice, why don't any of those guys, Hunt, have somebody like that in their lives to just kind of be the buffer? None of them do that.
Because, Mike, they are not taught to do so.
I just don't understand
by upper-level individuals, seniors, parents, in most part, maybe parental guidance is not even here. But whatever the case is, there are no situations in which an individual in authority listens to them. This is utterly absurd. These are college guys. Rice is Southern Methodist, for heaven's sake. And he is out, allegedly now, it hasn't been proven yet, but allegedly in a race on a busy highway in Dallas, only a mile away from where Southern Methodist is. This is rubbish. And then, fortunately, if there's a silver lining, there were no serious injuries in this accident.
No one got killed, no one got hurt, but there's still a lot of property damage.
But
you're talking about 6 cars.
Not only that, they left the scene of an accident.
And they got lucky.
They left the scene, apparently carrying a sack of something. Nobody knows what it is. And there is no way that Rashid Rice nor anybody else doesn't know about this. It's been on the news, and he hasn't turned himself in yet, at least as of now, as we do this show. The longer he's out, the worse this thing becomes. And let's just make it an easy case scenario here. Let's just say there are no charges ever filed. I can't believe that's not going to happen, but let's just say there aren't. You think the NFL is going to sit back and take this? Heavens no.
No, they're definitely going to
He will be suspended. He will, who knows how long. It could be a year. Just no speculation on this. But there will be a punitive measure coming from the National Football League, and he has nobody to blame but himself.
Well, we'll see what happens. You said the word upper management. I mean, hell, his agent. The agent's making 15%. You'd think you want to protect your investment, at least get him someone to help him. But at the end of the day, he's got to want that, and we'll see what happens. I have a feeling one of those individuals that were seen leaving the scene of the car is probably going to be the driver in this situation, and he's currently seeking counsel and talking with the team before they make those announcements. The Chiefs are supposed to make a announcement today is what I've heard. So we'll see. It's not what you want. Not what you want at all. So if you're a kid listening right now and you end up playing professional sports, get yourself a handler. All right, let's talk about basketball. We now know who the Final Four teams that are going to play this coming weekend. But before we do that, we had our first weekend of regular season baseball.
We did indeed. The Cardinals win one game in their 4-game series in Los Angeles last night. They snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Cardinals had this game won 4-0 into the 7th inning, and here come the Dodgers. Now, these are the Dodgers, and the Cardinals pitching staff in relief is not all that good, but still, 4-0, you should be able to protect a lead like that. Well, the Dodgers nipped back, got a couple of runs, halved that margin in the 7th inning, and then in the 8th, with a runner on base, 2 runners, I should say, on base. Here comes Max Muncy, who hasn't been playing very much, has a low batting average. Good player in his prime. Dodgers put him up as a pinch hitter against a guy named John King, who the Cardinals had just called up to the minor leagues. Blasts one into the seats, 3-run homer, 5-4 Dodgers win. And now the Cardinals limp down to San Diego to play the Padres tonight. That's a game they had won. They have to kick themselves over that. Now the Kansas City Royals, who've been displaying a lot of offense in spring training, but have opened up the season 2 games and shown no offense, put it all together yesterday. Scored 3 runs in the first, 6 more in the second, blasted the Minnesota Twins 11-0, and the Royals go to Baltimore to play the Orioles tonight.
It's good to see Art got a chance to go to one of those games last week.
Yeah,
sure. I was happy for him that he had a chance to make that with his kids. Let's talk about college baseball. How do our local college baseball teams? By the look on your face, they weren't finding too many candied eggs either.
Missouri State is really struggling.
Not so good.
Played Illinois State 3 games here in town at Meadow Park, first home games in a while, and the Bears lost all 3 of them. And they lost them, what's disturbing about this, in kind of similar fashion. They had leads and then gave them away late in the game to big innings, loose play, very, very questionable pitching. So the Bears are on another 5-game losing streak at the moment. Drury took 3 out of 4 from Quincy, so they're in pretty good shape in the Great Lakes Valley Conference. But Missouri State having their struggles in Keith Gutton's final year.
Not what you want to see, especially with him having this being his last year. It's not an April Fool's joke. My bracket might actually win in a couple groups because, of course, I picked the safest road, and it looks like I might be right. We'll see what happens, but we do know the Final Four playing this Saturday.
They are this for the men. The ladies will decide their Final Four. As far as the men are concerned, who would have thought, who would have bet that Raleigh, North Carolina would be celebrating 2 teams in the Final Four? North Carolina State is in the men's Final Four and in the ladies' Final Four. This is North Carolina State, folks. The men's team has won 10 straight. The ladies' team knocked off Duke yesterday. Good gracious sakes alive, what on earth is going on? Anyway, this is amazing. It'll be North Carolina State against Purdue next Saturday. That's the moment of truth. And then Connecticut versus Alabama. That will be the men's Final Four, all playing out in the Phoenix suburb of Glendale, Arizona. All these teams have dominating, I should say, big men. There is the key. They all have solid, hard-working, large individuals in the middle of the attack, and Purdue has the biggest of all in Zach Edey, who is a cool 7'4.5" and 300 and some pounds. He's a good athlete. But the others do too. North Carolina State with their young man who is playing very well at center. They're all good. They're all very good. Now the whole situation is interesting because it comes to the fore Saturday and Monday for the men. Ladies, a little different story.
Well, let's get into the ladies then.
Okay, the ladies, 2 of the Final Four teams have been decided. South Carolina, obviously, they're the overwhelming favorite. And as we mentioned, North Carolina State. They make it a double now for Raleigh, North Carolina. That's where North Carolina State's located. And they have 2 teams, 1 in the men, 1 in the women. Now, the other 2 teams are going to be decided tonight. And the one I think everybody is looking for is a rematch of last year's national title game between LSU and Iowa. They will play tonight in one half of the bracket. And then Connecticut, Gino Auriemma's team, plays Southern Cal. They will be terrific matchups. The winners of those 2 will complete the ladies' Final Four, which is being played in Cleveland this year.
Last but not least, a little bit of a drama-filled race last night in Richmond, wasn't there?
It was great. First of all, it was a Sunday Easter night race. Mm-hmm. They were under the lights in Richmond. They beat the weather, and Denny Hamlin won this thing in overtime. And here's Martin Truex Jr. driving the Bass Pro Shops car, making a great charge down the stretch. And this is an overtime race. There's a rather complicated set of rules, but they go OT. And Kyle Larson had a wreck within the final 2, and that brings out your overtime period. Anyway, bottom line is this. Here is Hamlin just heading down toward the win, and Truex puts him right on the cusp, and it's Hamlin who gets the win. Checkered flag, Denny Hamlin at Richmond last night.
Definitely put up a fight, though, and I know it was exciting stuff. Ned, you have a great day. Don't eat too much candy today, all right?